निकिता,
येस सर.
कुठे बाकीचे?
सर मी ग्रुपला मेसेज केलाय पण अजून कोणी सीन वगैरे नाही केलेला.
असंच मागच्या वेळेस पण तू एकटीच होतीस.
हो सर. सर कॉल
बघूया पुढे.
करून बाकीच्यांना.
कर की
हा
मी
सर.
पण मेसेज टाकलाय.
हा मी पण टाकलाय अगोदर मेसेज, अजून कोणी सीन
हम्म.
दिसत नाहीये.
बघूया थोड्या वेळ वाट बघूया मग कर सुरू करूया.
हा सर मी कॉल करून सांगते त्यांना.
ओके. हं? चला पटापट जॉईन व्हा. स्वप्नील, हर्षल कुठं होता मागच्या वेळेस? Okay. Now let us begin with the today's topic. For those who have joined for the first time, for them, let me tell you that we have begin with this this semester. And can you see the screen? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you see the screen?
Yes,
Hello?
sir.
Okay. So we have already begun with the semesters 6. I am dealing with this paper number 7. Title of this paper is Marine Ecology and Fisheries. The number is 601. And these are the points which we already discussed in the last lecture. So as we discussed in the last lecture, let me go through this, what we have already discussed in the last lecture. For those who have first time in this lecture, Pratik, Swapnil, Harshal, Rohit, असं करू नका. So marine habitat, and we have studied the physical parameters of the marine habitat. Of this size, it is largest water body on the earth. About 70% of our surface covered by this marine habitat, and all the oceans which are present on this earth, they are interconnected. There is continuation between these oceans. Maybe North Pacific, South Pacific in this globe, North Atlantic, Atlantic, Southern Ocean, Arctic Ocean, and the Indian Ocean. All these oceans, they are continuous, they are interconnected. So this is one of the important characteristics. Then there are different depths are there. Deepest trench is also which is extending below 6,000 meters. But on an average, the depth is about 4 kilometers. Light is important example and a source of the energy. This energy is trapped by the which are present in the form of photons. So, on the basis of up to extent the light is entering into the water body or penetrating a the and these orations are surface to the it is penetrating in phytoplanktons, primary and secondary. Primary is herbivores. So whatever aquatic organisms which fall in this category, herbivores and primary carnivores, they are very much abundant in this zone. That is you up to penetration of light. Then middle one, second one is the dysphotic zone, which is also called as twilight zone, which extends from the 200 to 1000 meters. And some light is been with diffuse type of light is there. So this is the dysphotic zone for extending from 200 to 1000 meters. Now the organisms which are present in this zone, they are primary consumers. Plant life is very rare because of the at the outermost layer which is in contact with the 200 meters depth as such. So primary consumers in the form of herbivores, they are present in this zone. And third one is the aphotic zone, which extends below 1000 meter, where the light is absent. Producers are totally absent, but the secondary consumers, and they are very much dominant. Means all the carnivorous organisms, they are much more dominant in this zone. Okay, so this is the dysphotic, aphotic zone which is extending beyond. So this is the average depth is there, but still in some of the areas you will find the depth of the ocean goes through 6,000 meters and beyond it in some of the deepest trenches present at the bottom of the sea. So this is the deep sea trench which is present. Then next is the temperature, and on the basis of this temperature also different this temperature plays an important role as far as the distribution of the organisms is concerned. Polar seas 2 degrees at the tropic region. The temperature of the water is increasing. 2 degrees centigrade is the temperature at the polar regions. So seasonal and daily temperature changes are also there because the surface of the coastal water The surface of the coastal water is the coolest at the dawn and then it is warmest at the night. So there is always a direct stratification in the sea, but the bottom layer of the water may have about -1 degrees centigrade. So which can wide range of temperature. They are termed as eurythermal. And these eurythermal, for example, cardium, arenicola, I'm going to show you how these arenicola appears. And the animals which can able to top the temperature, and these are termed as sternothermal. Reef corals, arthropods, they contribute to this term, not stenothermal. Okay. Pressure increases with the increase in depth. In the depth. So as we go deeper and deeper in the water, the pressure goes on increasing, but it is the reverse habitat is concerned. As you move away from the goes on decreasing. So such is the reverse condition. But maybe sperm whales, dolphins, all these seals, all these aquatic mammals, they can live where they need to inhale the atmospheric air. They have a capacity. They can surface, take the air in, take the oxygen in, and again they go the depth without live a life comfortably at different depths. So the animals that can tolerate a great vertical depth, these are the referred as urobathy. The word bathy is referred to the pressure. So urobathy, and those with the narrow range, which are restricted to the narrow range of the depth, they are called as stenopathy. Waves. Waves is an important uh, feature, physical characteristics. And these waves are produced by the winds, and waves are of different magnitudes, and it totally depends on the area of the open water. Now, as you move direction, duration, shape of the shore, if it is rocky, if the shore is rocky, then you will feel the dashing of the waves against the shore, the nature or the magnitude of the wave. Nature of water also, whether the water is shallow or whether the water is deep, or find the wave formation is very much rapid. So seawater is never static because waves are all the time they are producing. The intensity, the magnitude of the wave may differ from the surface, from the areas, whether it is the Also, the cosmic forces, that is the gravitational forces of they also currents different. As I have mentioned earlier, there is in oceans. So seawater is continuous in circulation. Air temperature differences between the polar region and the equator region. Because of this temperature difference, a low temperature belt is created, and which is responsible for setting the strong winds, which creates definite currents in the ocean. So due to the currents, the cool and the dense water from the polar region, both South Pole and North Pole, it moves towards the equator, and it gradually becomes warmer as it reaches towards the equator. So, as while dealing the point physical factor as a temperature, we have come across that the polar region, the temperature is about 2 degrees centigrade. But as you move towards the equator, as you move towards the tropics, the temperature goes on increasing. Likewise, when the current of water is moving from the polar region towards the equator, where water at the polar region, it is very much cool, but as it moves along with the currents which are flowing into the different oceans, and as it is moving towards the equator, slowly it becomes warmer. And again, from when it is moving from equator, warmer water again moves towards the pole. So this type of circulation of water with the help of these currents, it is continuously going on. So equatorial currents, they move. These are currents, they are moving from east and west in direction. They are moving from the north to south in direction. So such type of main basic currents are there. And currents are caused by what is the reason for the causing? One is the temperature. Because of the temperature difference, low temperature belt is created, and the winds, they are moving they are moving towards a low temperature belt which is formed. And as these winds are flowing, the currents are also moving along with these winds. So thermo, based on the temperature, thermohaline, or it is also called as density current. They produce by heating action of the sun, vertical which is observed and also generated because of the force of moon and sun. This oceanic water is moving, which is pulled with the help of this gravitational force. Wind currents produced by the effect of wind blowing from the marine waters in the slanting manner, means how these currents affects only the surface area. So whatever wind is moving, this due to this wind, only the surface strata of the water is accelerated. It is moving in slanting manner. So the surface water is affected here. So how these are the different currents? Red, which are shown in the warm currents, and these are the cold currents. How these currents are moving? Means they are moving towards northern region, this southern region, and how this is in the South Atlantic, uh, currents moving in the south, current moving in the North Atlantic, North Pacific, South Pacific, in the Indian Ocean, in the Southern Ocean, and these are how they are moving. So this is the equatorial region, and these are the altitudes, latitudes. How when we are moving from away from the equator towards the northern pole, and away towards equator for towards the southern pole. Currents have many biological effects. First thing is that they bring circulation of cool water. So this is which the circulation of water again also which helpful, which prevents which prevents oxygen stagnation, because whatever the oxygen which is present, if it is utilized by the organism, and this that water body may become deficient of the dissolved oxygen, and this area, this water body needs to be get rejuvenate with the dissolved oxygen. So these water currents, they are actually as water is heated because of the solar radiation, the temperature because of the hot, this water body planktons from one place to another, maybe phytoplanktons, maybe zooplanktons, or maybe other narratic organisms which cannot withstand against the water currents. These organisms are placed. The good dispersal is there, which is also an advantage to the organisms for it is a good environment for the supply of food for those organisms which are attached to the substratum, or which are fixed to the raw oxygen present in the water body. So and they, now last time we have discussed till this point, and so this was a point which was to be discussed, and this is the tides. Now tides are the regular rise and fall in the level of the sea produced by the gravitational force of moon and sun. So tides occurs along the shores because even though the gravitational pull is appear in the oceanic region, but we can see the effect of these tides very well at the shores, at the coastal regions. As Earth is continuously rotating, the water is heaped, gathered, and in some areas causing the rise in the water level. In that area, and the reduction in the other area of the ocean. So the lunar or the moon tides are almost double in size than the solars. So tides are maximum on the full moon day and new moon day म्हणजे अमावस्या आणि पौर्णिमा. फुल मून डे पौर्णिमा and new moon day अमावस्या ज्याला आपण म्हणतो. So tides are of different types. Flood tides. During flood tide, the sea level rises covering the area of the shoreline. So what we call this as a area, or the coastal area, which is often covered during the high tide. भरतीच्या वेळीस जिथपर्यंत पाणी येतं ते that is that tide. Ebb tide, spring tide, they occur on full moon and new moon days. You see, spring tide occurs. This is the location of the moon, Earth. So this is the position, what we called as new moon. Then this is the position of the moon where the full moon day is there. During both these conditions, you will find the gravitational forces are there. The high tides are the high tide towards these. Observe these positions, low tides, and are they are formed. The next is the nip tide. These tides are produced when moon is in the fourth quarter. तर वेगवेगळ्या पोझिशन्स मूनच्या आपण बघतो. चंद्रकोर आकार, गिब्बस position, half moon, full moon, like that. This tide possesses least movement of the flow, and they are produced twice each month when sun and moon pull the earth. This is the position of the sun. बघा आता ह्या पोझिशनवरून म्हणजे समजा ही जी पौर्णिमा आहे या पौर्णिमेतून चंद्र असा इकडं मूव्ह ज्याला येतो, जेव्हा पंधरवडा ज्याला म्हणतो, म्हणजे कृष्ण पक्ष आणि शुक्ल पक्ष ज्याला पंचांगात शब्द वापरतात, त्यावेळेस अशा पद्धतीचं आपल्याला हाफ मून कंडिशन दिसते. And that during that region you'll find that tides they are occurring here. Higher low tides and lower high tides they are observed. म्हणजे असे हे हाफ मून डे या पोझिशनला location of the sun is here, the location of the moon is here. So these are the different types of tides. Now we are going to move towards next point, that is chemical. Let me share another slide here. Chemical factors. Oh, can you see the screen? Nikita?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So chemical factors. Very first one is the pH. The term pH was first of all introduced by, this is the Sorensen, is the Danish. What Danish refers to, the person who belongs to the country Denmark. He defined pH of the solution as a negative logarithm of concentration of hydrogen ions. So mathematically it has been the expression, and it is also called as, it is a negative log of HIN concentration. So number of hydrogen ions present in the solution, it actually is a measure of the acidity of the solution, whereas the alkalinity of the solution, it depends on the presence of the hydroxyl ions. These are the words. This is the which you have already studied in your chemistry classes, and you people are quite familiar with the word, how the pH is calculated, or if how the pH, which pH is called as acidic and which pH is called as alkaline. But the normal pH of seawater, it ranges from about 0 to 14, means alkaline. But seawater pH is typically limited to the range between 7.5 to 8.4. And so this is the range pH where you will find, which is optimum for the comfortable life of the aquatic organisms as far as the marine habitat is concerned. No doubt there are also certain organisms which can tolerate the extreme limits, extreme acidity, as well as the extreme of the water which are observed in the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea proper. The pH always determined by carbon dioxide and salts. Solution organism here is actually not related to the pH of water, but some of the organism prefers the separate pH range, especially the marine algae. That's what I have just quoted now. They can tolerate, they can remain the acidic medium as the diatoms grow well in the pH between 6.5 to 9 with the optimum of 8.2. So pH is also an important chemical factor as such. Salinity, salinity of water. Now, seawater is salty in taste, as you know, because of the high salinity status. The average salinity is about 35%, and it remains constant throughout the ocean. But salinity is minimum near the equator, but maximum at the altitudes, and then decreases towards high altitude, high latitudes. So this is how, means if you move from away from the equator, the salinity of the water bodies goes on decreasing towards high altitudes. Though the salinity varies, the proportion of main ions. Now, what are the main ions which are present in the water which contributes actually in the salinity? These are the chlorides. Maximum amount of ions which are present, these are the two main which contributes the saline. One is the chloride which contributes of 55.6, and another is the sodium which contribute of 30.58%. These are the two. Other organisms are, sorry, not organisms, other elements are also there. They are contributing, but their contribution is uh, less as compared to these two elements. Now, chlorides actually are made to decide the element. And marine water organisms, they utilize these substances like calcium, sodium, potassium, magnesium, chlorides for their and few animals even use rare elements. This is calcium carbonates, strontium, and this the sulfate. These are used by the foraminiferans, radiolarians. These are the protozoans which are present, which are having shell on their body. Generally, protozoans are either without any body covering. That is, for example, amoeba is the protozoan which is not having a definite shape. Because its definite shape is because of the presence of protozoan, but it is having a definite shape, sleeper shape, and this definite shape is there for the helical. But you will have the shape. That covering is made up of this shell, and the shell is made up of this calcium carbonate. Bromine and iodine, these are also the elements which are stored by the horny corals. Vanadium is another element, very rare elements. These are very rare elements, and these are used by the ascidians, tunicates. Tunicates, ascidian, कुठले animals, आता corals म्हणले तर कुठले animals आले? Yes. Corals, which are the organisms? The corals, acidian, acidian tunicates, uh, acidiaceae, protochordats मध्ये acidiaceae. Have you might have observed the animal Herdmania. Herdmania is the acidian. Coral, coelentrates. Different corals are there. These they are classified under the phylum coelentrates. So these are the organisms. They are utilizing calcium carbonate, bromine, iodine, and strontium sulfate. These are the elements which are utilized by these organisms. Now, this deposition of these salts is there. It is the effect which is about billions of years. This accumulation of the salt is continuously going on, and also the accumulation is because of the salts collected from the land surface by the river. See, high deposition is there about 3 into 10 to 12 kg of dissolved salt in the oceans, an amount of about 18 kg. The salinity of ocean is 45%. The zone of the ocean up to 150 to 300 meters, the depth is given, where there is continuous decrease in the salinity with the depth. So this zone there is decrease in the so the is practically constant. Stenohaline animals, those can tolerate narrow range of the salinity. That is the part of the sea or marine habitat is called as oceanic zone that we are going to study later on, where salinity it is very narrow. But the animals which can tolerate wide range of the salinity and animals of the coastal waters, Arenicola, Mytilus, Sagitta, Icoplura, these are the animals where there is a great fluctuations are there. See, see these are these animals. Arenicola, it is an annelid which burrows, which makes a U-shaped burrow in the sand and enters into that, and this is the animal which is removed from that burrow. Mytilus, a mollusk attached to the which leads the sedentary life, attached to the substratum, attached to the rocks with the biases traits. This is the Sagitta, which belongs to minor phyla, which is this is the Icoplura, and this is a protocol. See, and notochord is present, such type of, or it is referred generally as a zooplankton. So such type of organisms, they are actually called as, they are referred as Eurohaline, which can tolerate the wide range of salinity. Then, as usual, okay, uh, time is up actually. We'll stop here and we'll continue in the next lecture. Okay. Uh, Professor Dr. Mrs. Boite has already entered the class and we need to stop here. Okay. So you may join the lecture of the common. Uh, so I'm stopping here. Boite madam. Please unmute yourself.
हा बोला.
Madam,
हा
you can carry on. You
चालेल
can continue with your lecture.
चालेल. ओके.